in Las Vegas, which happens to be a good town to think about why the hell can't we moderate, right? Now, when you live there, you see all kinds of wild stuff, right? But to me, what's always been the strangest has been the slot machines. So you've spent time in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like they're in the casinos, obviously, but they're in the gas stations, the grocery stores, the restaurants, the bars, and the airport. And they're not sitting empty.
Right.
People are playing them around the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell is up with that?
Just plays in your dopamine.
Well, and it doesn't make sense because
No.
everyone knows the house always wins.
Yeah, it's not. It's like a numbing thing. They just
Yeah.
sit there and press the buttons and press the buttons and press the buttons and hope they make money.
Yeah. So I decide, all right, like, I'm going to find out how a slot machine works. Why do people get hooked on slot machines? That's the question. And so I go into journalist mode and I start making calls. Now, the first group of people that I call turns out to be a dead end. So who I call are people who are effectively anti-gambling researchers. Okay, so these are researchers who have a very anti-gambling bent, and they tell me all sorts of sort of strange things. They're like, oh, it's because casinos don't have clocks. They're like these myths we've all heard. Casinos don't have clocks. Slot machines only play in the key of C, which relaxes people and relaxes their wallet. Casinos don't have any right angles, and right angles activate the rational part of your brain. And so I go, okay. And then I go to an actual casino, and there's right angles everywhere, right? The screens are right angles. No clocks, but guess who else doesn't have clocks? Like most businesses, right? There's
Right.
not clocks in Costco.
Most restaurants.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not normal to have clocks. And then for the audio, the key of C, I call up a slot machine audio composer. Now, this is a real job you can have in Las Vegas, right? And this guy goes, where the hell do you hear that? He's like, I use all keys. So I realized that the problem that I'm encountering is that I have called people who want us to stop gambling. I need to call people who want us to start gambling, right? I got to follow the money on this. So long story short, I talked to a handful of people in town, and this leads me to this casino on the outskirts of Las Vegas. Now, it's brand new, it's cutting edge, but the catch is that it's not open to the public. So this place is basically a living, breathing casino, but it's used entirely for research on human behavior.
What?
Yeah, so
Really? Who
Yeah.
funds that?
73 different companies. So there's gambling companies that are involved, but also a bunch of big tech companies who are on the Fortune 500. So I go there, and it's like I said, it's a legit casino.
How big is it?
It's I would say, I mean, it's not the size of a normal casino, like a sprawling strip one. It's probably about the size of your everything you have here, maybe a little bigger. But they have hotel rooms.
It's like a Walmart.
Yeah.
That big?
Yeah, it's in this big office building, basically. And they're basically looking at how everything that happens in a casino affects human behavior. So how does room design and the technology we're using in rooms affect behavior? How does betting with, say, an AI bot versus an actual human impact betting? Now, when I'm there, I meet with, to bring it back to slot machines, I meet with a guy who designs slot machines. So the reason that these things are so entrancing to people, it tracks back to this behavior loop that I call the scarcity loop. And this is basically a looping behavior that when people do it, they tend to get hooked on it very easy. So it's got three parts. It's got opportunity, unpredictable rewards, and quick repeatability. So opportunity, you have an opportunity to get something of value. So in the case of a slot machine, it's money, right? 2, unpredictable rewards. You know you're going to get the thing of value if you continue the behavior, but you don't know when, and you don't know how valuable it's going to be. So with a slot machine game, when those reels are spinning, you could win nothing. You could basically lose your money. You could win a couple dollars, or you could win a life-changing amount of money. There's a fantastic range of things that could happen. And then 3, quick repeatability. You can immediately repeat the behavior. So with slot machines, the average player plays about 16 games a minute. And that's different from all other habits. Like most habits, you don't immediately repeat them. Now, the reason that people are so interested in this, companies, casinos, is because this sort of three-part system I just laid out, it can get people to repeat a lot of other behaviors too. So it's in social media, it's in sports gambling, it's in dating apps. Even companies like gig work economy companies are using it to get people to work longer hours. It's being leveraged by the financial industry in a lot of personal finance apps, and on and on and on. It's become, it's been embedded in so many of the products, even institutions that influence people's lives, because it is so captivating to us.